Hello. The Divine Code reading for August 29th, pages 165 and 166. We're in the chapter, Which Actions Make One Liable for Idol Worship. Topic number 22. If one makes an offering to an idol, and through this he accepts it as a god, even if the final intent is to if one makes an offering to a demon, speaking of a demon here, and through it he accepts it as a god, even if his final intent is to connect to it and to force it to do his will, he commits idol worship, and he is liable for a capital sin. So if the person is, a demon would be understood as actually possible to get it to do something for the person. An idol, it would be argued that an idol cannot actually do something. A demon has some independent will, some independent possibility of doing something for the person. And so if the worshiper, if the non-Jew does something saying that the demon is a deity over him, accepting him as a deity, accepting the demon as a deity, then that brings it into the realm of idol worship, even if the final end is to get it to do some miscellaneous action. Shulchan Aruch, Yeridea 179:19. One who burns an offering to a demon in order that it should do his will, does not diminish the idol worship involved, since it is the way of idol worshippers to ask for good from their idols. This is not comparable to one who serves it out of love or fear, as discussed in topic 27 below. That'll be in tomorrow's reading. For there he does not accept it as a deity. So if he's doing some action just trying to get a good result, but he's not accepting the demon as a entity, as a deity, as a god, then it might be allowed. It's still not really permitted, but it would not be a court liability in front of a court. But if he did so for the purpose of doing magic, and he does not accept him as a god through his offering, it is still forbidden, but he is not held liable for the idol worship. See Rashi and Miri on Tractate Sanhedrin 65a and Shach Yeridea 179:22. See topic 11.2 below on this subject. So that'll be a future chapter that we'll be discussing this more. Basically, the key is that the person, the non-Jew, has to be accepting such and such as a deity in order that the different actions are considered something that makes them liable for idol worship. Topic 23. One who verbally accepts upon himself any idol as his god is liable for capital sin. And this also extends to any created physical or spiritual entity or force or concept other than God himself, even if the specified thing has not previously been associated with any idol worship. This applies if he says to it, "You are my God," or other types of similar statements. Even though he has done no action, like Kim Mishnah, which is also clear from Rambam, Laws of Sacrifices for Inadvertent Transgressions, 1:2. So it's the key element involved is that he is accepting something as a deity. If he verbally accepts, now if he just says it in his mind, that's different. But if he verbally accepts it, the verbal acceptance is considered sufficient. That's a physical action. Verbal acceptance is a physical action, and that makes the person liable. Even if he retracts his words shortly after his statement and said, "This is not my God," his retraction does not help, and he is liable for a capital sin. Rambam, Laws of the Worship of Stars and Idols, 3:4. So the action is considered a type of worship of the idol. The action of verbally accepting the idol as a deity over him. Whether one accepts the idol as a god while standing before it, its statue or image, or if he doesn't, or if he is not in front of it, he is still liable. Rashi on Tractate Sanhedrin 60b. Topic number 24. One who prays to an idol, verbally or in his thoughts, whether or not he is standing in front of it, he has served in front of the image, he has served it, as it says, Isaiah 44:17. Then the rest of it, the refuge wood, he makes into a god as his graven image. He will bow to it, prostrate himself, and praise to it, and says, "Rescue me, for you are my God." Therefore, verbal prayer to an idol makes one liable to a capital sin. But one is never liable to punishment from a court for sinful thoughts alone. And that's in part 1 of the Divine Code, topic 1, chapter 1, topic 10. See also topic chapter 2, topic 10 above. So that'd be in the section on idol worship. For praying to an idol in thought alone, one may be punished by the hand of heaven. So accepting the idol as a deity in thought would not be something that a worldly court would handle. That would be handled by the heavenly court that is able to judge. The heavenly court is able to judge a man's thoughts. The earthly court can only judge what the man does. So therefore, the verbal acceptance would be in the realm of the worldly court, and the mental acceptance would be in the realm of the heavenly court. If one only praises and lauds the supposed deeds or beauty of an idol, or thanks it for his well-being, or good fortune, or happiness, or complains to it about his problems, but he does not verbally accept it as divinity, then he is not liable for a capital sin, even though such speech is forbidden. But if one verbally praises the power or sovereignty of an idol in words which meant that he accepts it as a divinity over himself, That is, he accepts the idol or as a divine power over himself with words such as, "You are my God," or "It is my God," or any other words which show that he makes this acceptance. Whether or not the idol is physically present before him, he is liable for a capital sin. So it's not just that he's accepting it as there being a divinity, but he has to accept it as a God over himself, that he is a God, that this entity is a God that he would serve. It is clear that praising an idol is forbidden for the prohibition against embracing, kissing, or performing other honors for idols, as it is clear from Rambam, the laws, the worship of stars and idols, 1:1. They began to build temples for their idols and offer sacrifices to them. They would praise and glorify them with words and bow down before them. But one is not liable for a capital sin for verbally praising to an idol. For the speech that contains acceptance of an idol or for speech that contains acceptance of an idol as a deity. So these are all steps that head towards full idol worship. The Rambam is explaining the stages that humanity went through, and it's basically it's a parable for the stages that an individual goes through towards idol worship. So the stages leading up are prohibited. We're not supposed to do that stuff. But it's not a liability in a court of in a physical court of law. But praises that one says before an idol, which are not meant to be service of by worship, or acceptance of it as a deity, do not make one liable. Nikudat Hakeshnaf Yeridea, chapter 148, describes the difference between one who says to an idol, "You are my God," by which he accepts it as divinity, and one who only praises and thanks it, who is not liable. It appears from Rambam, the worship of stars and idols, 9:5, that one who praises an idol's power or sovereignty is obviously accepting it as a divinity, and he is liable for this. But if only one praises an idol's supposed actions or image, and does things to honor these aspects of the idol, he is not liable for a capital sin, and this is not the main way of service. So praising the idol's power or sovereignty would be in the realm of accepting it as a deity. Whereas praising the actions that the idol does, the supposed actions the idol does, would not be in the realm. It would be just like, you know, we're talking about one side of the line versus the other side of the line. The power and sovereignty would be deity. The actions would just be, you know, yeah, I think gravity is wonderful. You know, if a person says a gravity has sovereignty, that would be in the area of accepting it as a deity. If a person says gravity causes us to walk around on the earth, that would be praising the power, but it would not be accepting it as a deity. There's a distinction between the two. Thank you.